Hello and welcome back. So in the last lecture, we had a high level overview of how we are going to implement the reset password functionality for a user. So we learned that the reset password functionality will be implemented in two steps. In the first step, the user has to make a post request to the forgot password route, and the forgot password route will send a password reset link to the user. Now, using that password reset link, the user has to make a patch request to the reset password route. And with that request, the user has to pass his new password which he wants to set. Now, we will talk about reset password functionality in the coming lectures. But in the last lecture, we started implementing the forgot password functionality. So there, first of all, as we learned, when a user is going to make a post request to the forgot password route, with the request, the user also needs to send his email address, the email for which the user wants to set a new password. And inside this forgot password route, we are going to do three things. First, we need to check if the email which the user has provided, with that email, we have any user in the database or not. If we do not have any user with the given email, in that case, we are going to send a 404 error response to the client. But if we have a user, in that case, we are going to generate a reset password token. So this first part we already implemented in the last lecture. Now in this lecture, we are going to implement this second part where we are going to generate a reset password token. Let's see how we can do that. So let's go back to VS Code. So in the last lecture, we already implemented the functionality where we are finding a user in the users collection based on the email which we have received in the request body. And with that email, if a user is not found, we are sending this error response to the client. But if the user with that given email is found, if that user exists in the database, the next thing which we are going to do is we are going to generate the reset password token. Now remember that the reset token which we are going to generate here, it should be a random token value, and it needs not to be cryptographically as strong as hash password. And also, in order to generate a reset token, I'm going to create a reusable function. So again, for that, I'm going to create an instance function. So let's go to user.js. There we have already created few instance methods like this is password changed and the compared password. In the same way, I'm going to create another instance method. So for that, on the user schema, again, I'm going to call this methods property. And on that, I'm going to create a method called generate reset token. And to this, I'm going to assign a function. And inside this, we are going to write a logic to generate a reset password token. So here I'm going to create a variable and I'll simply call it as reset token. Okay. And to create this reset token, as I mentioned, this token need not to be as strong as the hash password. So here, instead of using the bcrypt library, I'm going to use Node.js built-in library called crypto. And to use that library, first of all, we need to require it here. So here I'm going to create a variable. I'll simply call it as crypto. And here we are going to require the crypto package. So this is Node.js built-in package. We don't need to install it from npm. And using this crypto package, let me retract this schema here. Using this crypto package, what we can do is we can generate a token, a hexadecimal token. As I mentioned, this reset token which we want to generate here, it can be any random token value. So on this crypto method, we have a method called random bytes. And to this random bytes, first of all, we need to specify what should be the size of the random string which will be generated. Here, I'm going to set the size as 32. Okay, and on that, we can call toString method. And to this, we can pass what type of random value we want to generate. Here, I want to generate a hexadecimal value. So for that, we will simply pass hex here. Now, the token which this expression will generate here, it is not going to be an encrypted token. It will be a plain hexadecimal value. And this is the token which we are going to send to the user. Remember that when we are going to send a reset password email to the user, in the email, we are going to send the plain token. But in the database, when we are going to store it, we are not going to store it as a plain value. Instead, first we are going to hash it and then we are going to save it in the database. Because again, we don't want this password reset token to be misused by any hacker if he gets access to our database. So when we are going to send the email to the user, in the email we are going to send the plain reset token. But when we are going to store it in the database, there we are going to store the hashed value of the reset token. And again, for that, for hashing the reset token, what we are going to do is we are going to use crypto library again. On that, we have a method called create hash. Okay, so this is the method which we are going to use. And to this, first we need to specify what algorithm we want to use in order to hash the value. Here we are going to use SHA-256. Okay, it should be SHA-256. So this is the algorithm which we want to use. Then we need to specify which value we want to hash. For that, we are going to use the update method. And to this, we are going to pass this reset token. So this is the value which we want to hash using this SHA-256 algorithm. And finally, let's also specify the digest, basically in what format we want to have the hash value. So again, here I'm going to specify hex. Now, this expression here, this is going to return us the hashed reset token. So here we have the plain reset token, and here we are hashing that reset token. So this expression will return us a hashed value. Now, where do we want to store it? So what we are going to do is, on the schema, we are going to create two more fields. So let me retract these fields. Okay, so we are going to create two more fields. One field will be reset token, and this is going to store a string value. Basically, this reset token, it is going to store the hashed reset token value which we are creating here. So here I can say this dot reset token. So in the database, we want to store hashed reset token, right? And I also want to have one more field which is reset token expires, or let's call it as reset token expires at, and this is going to store a date value. So I also want to specify an expiry time for the reset token which will be sent to the user, because the reset token should not be valid forever. So in a real world application, when a user requests for a password reset, he receives a reset token which is valid for 10 minutes. So the same thing I want to do here. Here also, the reset token which we are going to send to the user, it should be valid for 10 minutes. So within 10 minutes, the user needs to use that reset token to reset his password. Otherwise, if he tries to use that reset token after 10 minutes, he should not be able to change his password using that token because it has already expired. Now, to specify that expiration time, here I'll say this dot expires in, or it should be reset token expires at. And here, what we will do is, in order to set the expiration time, we are going to get the current date and time. So for that, I can say date.now. This will give us the current date and time, and this is going to give us the date and time in milliseconds. To that, we are going to add those many milliseconds which we have in 10 minutes. So here I'll say plus, and in 10 minutes, we will multiply it by 60 to get the number of seconds which we have in 10 minutes. And to that, we will multiply 1000 to get the number of milliseconds which we have in 10 minutes. So this is going to create a new timestamp, which will be the timestamp for the time which is 10 minutes after the current date and time. So that will be the expiration time for the reset token. Okay. Finally, let's go ahead and let's return that reset token from here. Remember, I'm returning the reset token and not this dot reset token. So this dot reset token, it is going to store the hashed reset token. But since we want to send the plain reset token to the user, from here we are going to return that plain reset token. Okay. Now remember that this reset token and reset token expires at, currently we have set these fields value, but these are not saved in the database yet. We are going to save it in our controller function. But here I'll also go ahead and I'll add a console.log statement where I'm going to log the plain reset token, so that we are storing in the reset token variable, and also this dot reset token. So this reset token is the field in the database which is going to store the hash token. So both of them I want to log here. Let's save the changes and let's go ahead and let's call this generate reset token method. So auth controller.js. Here I can say user. So we have a user which we are getting from the database, and this user is an instance of user model. So on that I can call this generate reset token method, and it is going to return us a plain reset token. So let's go ahead and let's store it in a variable. I'll simply call it as plain reset token, and to this plain reset token we are going to assign the reset token which this generate reset token method is returning. And also, as I mentioned, here we have simply set the reset token, and reset token expires at field value, but it is not yet saved in the database. So we are also going to save them. And for that, on this user instance, again, we are going to call the save method. And since we are calling the save method, it is going to run asynchronously. Before that, let's also use the await keyword. So we want to wait for this save method to complete its operation before we move to the next line. Okay, and here we are calling the save method on the user instance and not on the user model. So we have already learned this in our previous lectures, but I want to make this clear that this save method, it is called on the instance of a model. But when we use create method to create a new document, we use create method on the model itself. For example, when we are using this find one method, we are using it on the model instead of using it on the instance of the model. But here, this save method is used on the instance of the model. With this, let's save the changes. Let's go to Postman. And again, let's try to make a request to this forgot password route. If I send the request, okay, it says invalid input data, confirm password is a required field, which is correct because if you remember, by default, when we use save method, it runs the validator. But in this case, we don't want to run the validator. So for that, here we need to set an option, and the option is validate before save, and we want to set it to false. By default, the save method runs the validator. So here, using this setting, we are telling that don't run the validator when I'm calling this save method here. With this, let's save the changes. Let's go to Postman again, and this time when we send the request, we have received the success response, but this is not what we are interested in right now. Let's go to the terminal and let's scroll down to the bottom, and you will see that here the plain reset token is logged. So this is the plain reset token which we are logging. Okay, and this is the hashed reset token, and you will see both of them are different values. Both of them are 32-bit long, but this is the plain reset token which is generated by this expression. Okay, so here we are logging the reset token, and this is the hash reset token which we are generating using this expression, using this create hash method. And also I want to make this clear that here we have not used any salting. So if we use the same reset token, if we try to hash the same reset token here, it is going to generate the same value, because as we have learned, the same hashing algorithm will always generate the same hash string for the same input string. Okay, this is very important to understand because this is the concept which will be used when we are going to compare the plain token which we are going to receive for this, for this reset password route with the hash token which we are saving in the database. Now let's also go to Compass, and there let me refresh the collection here, and you will see that for this user we have requested for the password reset link, and for that user you will see a reset token has been added and it is storing the hashed reset token, and a reset token expires at date is also set here. Okay, so in this way, inside this forgot password function, we are generating a reset token and we are saving the hash value of that reset token in the database. And now we are going to send this plain reset token to the user on his email. Let's see how we can do that in our next lecture. This is all from this lecture. If you have any questions from this lecture, then feel free to ask it. Thank you for listening and have a great day.